Okay, so we are now live and we're now recording. So welcome everybody to the April Ultimate Crew Q&A. I had to say that really slowly so that I didn't get it all tangled up. It's not the kind of thing you can say 10 times fast. So I am Alison Rentoul, the founder of the Crew Coach, and we are joined today on our call by the lovely Sarah McPherson Morris, who I know as Sarah Mac. The lovely Sarah Mac, who is our Ultimate Crew Community Manager. So yay, welcome Sarah. We're so excited to have Sarah joining us as our community manager, and you've probably seen that she has been posting away like an absolute demon in the Facebook group, putting lots of comments and messages in there and sharing job ads with you and all sorts of other cool stuff. I noticed today that she was posting about there being some rugby on Antibes and all that great stuff. So, you know, Sarah is actually based in the south of France and has been living there for 20 odd years.
Yes, yeah. Up to it, Ali. Yes, a good long time.
Yeah, so there's not much she doesn't know about downtown Antibes and the surrounds. So she's pretty clued in and connected to the community. So Sarah is absolutely there to help you guys, you know, to make this dream a reality. If you're already in Antibes and you're trying to get a job at the moment, or if you are still at home but thinking about whether or not to come to Antibes to look for work, or even if you haven't even heard of Antibes but you just heard that it's the south of France, you know, Sarah is all over it. So, you know, make sure you connect with her on Facebook. The more you connect, the more you reach out to us, the more you share stuff with us about what you're trying to do, and the more you ask questions and things like that, the more we can help you. And that's really what this group is all about.
Yes, away, please.
So I'm gonna actually hand over to Sarah and ask her a few questions and stuff about her background, so she can share with you a little bit about, you know, how she got into yachting and all that sort of thing. We're going to have a bit of a chat, and she's definitely going to be able to share some pearls of wisdom with you, if I know our Sarah. And hopefully inspire you as well as to, you know, the amazing life that you can have in yachting and beyond, because, you know, yachting can be a stepping stone to other wonderful things as well. So it could be a means, you know, a goal in itself, or it could be a means to an end to another goal. So Sarah Mac, what on earth prompted you all those years ago to up sticks from Australia, because she's another Australian, and you have to tell us where in Australia you come from, and what prompted you to up sticks and come overseas and start to get work on boats?
Okay, so Ali, I was actually teaching in London at the time, and went traveling, wanted to go around France and see what was happening, and we actually met some people who were coming to the boats as well. And we thought at the time, oh, that sounds fun. We had no idea what we were doing or where we were going, but that's what we just do. London was getting busy and hot and so on and boring, and there was no green space and no sea, no nothing. So that's what we did. So I came out here probably the same way everybody else has and will do. We came and we fell upon Antibes, and we looked for a job. And I must say, when I got here, it is pretty much like it is now. There's a lot of people looking and so on. But I got on a boat called Applause and went straight to Dubai. So that was me starting. Yeah, away from everything, everyone, anyone. And actually the first guy that I met on that boat is probably my best friend in France still today. So he was amazing. He was my purser. And yeah, he showed me the ropes, what was happening, how to do everything and anything. And we just did it, and we went, and it was amazing. And I think we were the first super yacht to go to Dubai. So
I was just going to say that that's quite unusual. Like for back then, there weren't so many yachts over there or going over there.
No, there was no one else there, and actually the guy that bought it was from Dubai. He was 26 and I was 24. He came and bought the boat in a baseball cap and shorts, and off we went to his land, and that's how it all started for me. Yeah.
So you said we. So were you? Did you come to Antibes with a friend or with a boyfriend?
Yes, I came with a boyfriend. Ultimately, he went back to home, and I stayed on, and it became my life. And in actual fact, it was him who was an engineer who really wanted to start, and he got on Indian Achiever, I think, and yeah, that was all exciting days. But we were young, and that's what he wanted to do, and I actually fell into it because I did have a career to go back to in London. But ultimately I stayed in yachting.
So many people do.
Yes.
So because this might be interesting for people as well who are in a couple, you know, and wondering like what's it like when you come over, because it is a challenge, isn't it, for couples trying to get jobs, especially people with no experience.
Yes, and even in those days it was really hard. We actually did then get offered a job, but we were so separate at that stage that it didn't work for us. So, but I will say, I think it the same, you know, there's a lot of captains out there who probably, you know, don't want the hassle of having a partner on the boat. And in actual fact, since then, my husband and I worked together on a boat for a while as well. Good and bad, you know. It's great to be with your partner. However, if there's problems or things going on board, it doesn't always help to have someone else, you know, that's so close to you there. I think it's nice to share cabins, and it's nice to have that person there all the time. But I think ultimately yachting is probably more a singles game than having a partner on board, I think, personally.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really tough for couples, and we'll probably we could spend a whole kind of Q&A just talking about that. We might do that later on down the track.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but that's you know, what you guys did is really what most people end up doing, which is getting jobs apart, because it's almost impossible to get a job together when you're completely new, and you know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but as in the relationship. But you know, a lot of other things are impacting on that as well. So okay, so so how did you actually get that first job? Like, you made it sound really simple, like you just turned up and got the job, but I assume that it was a little bit more difficult than that.
I think, well, Ali, I think I was lucky. I came and the boat was changing crew. The captain and his wife had just been replaced, and they wanted a new crew, so they were taking a whole new crew. Things hadn't worked out on the last charter, so basically everyone was pretty much sacked. So I was there at a really good time. I was lucky, and I don't know whether you remember this crew agent, Adrian Fisher, who's no longer with us, but he was like, get down there now and get there straight away, and take a horse tranquilizer, I think he said to me, and calm down and just enjoy it. So that was me. That was me being lucky. I know, you know, things don't go as easily sometimes today, but I was here at the right time in the right place, which I must say happens often as well. So there are big crew changes at the beginning of the season. People hate it. Captains don't like them. They're, you know, it's not the job for them and so on. So if you know, you're thinking at this stage that it's all over, it's absolutely not. There's a lot of changes still happening, and a lot of jobs still, and boats actually still not even back, Ali. So
absolutely.
You know,
there's still yachts coming across from the Caribbean, and also we haven't even had any of the first big charters yet. I mean, we've got Easter coming up, so there'll be some owners and maybe some charter guests coming down for Easter. It's quite late this year, Easter. But so there'll be a bit of guest use right now, which means that there might have been some day work leading up, you know, to that over the last few days, and maybe even some last minute stuff today and tomorrow. So you know, make sure you get on those docks and walk the docks. But also, the big charters that we have coming up in May are the Cannes Film Festival, and then the Grand Prix, of course. And we, you know, there's after that, there's always this big sort of shift, isn't there? It's almost like everyone moves around one place. There's a big reshuffle.
Yes, massive. You really, I think you really know by then, don't you? If people are going to work on the boat, if they fit in, if they're hardworking, if people have had too many nights out whilst on charter and all those things. That's another big change, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and then it's almost like everyone sort of reshuffles and gets all settled in, and then they kind of settle in for the season. You know, so there is towards the end of May and beginning of June, there's a big opportunity. If you still haven't got a job by then, there's still a really good chance of getting one. And then even throughout the season, because as Sarah said, you know, like anything could happen, you know, somebody could not work out, or there could be an accident, but it does happen. Or, you know, there's opportunities, and quite often by then, everyone's run out of money, the people that were still here looking for jobs, and they've either, you know, given up and gone home, or they've got a job and they're gone. So so there's less people looking for work. So when that happens in the middle of the season, if you're still here, then you can be snapped up, as long as you've made a really good impression on everybody, and they're kind of like, you know, oh, there's that Sarah, she's been trying so hard and we really want to help her. So
yeah, it's true. And Ali, I think with that, the perseverance thing, you know, you don't want to go and nag the boats again, and you might have walked that key, but really the people you want are the determined ones, the faces that you've seen so many times that you think, okay, well, let's just give them a job now. You know, it does make a difference that they've seen you, and they've seen you again and again, and also out and in Antibes or in Nice, Cannes, wherever you are, that people know you, that you're talking to the right people. That helps as well.
It really does. And you know, you're kind of you're trying to get yourself known, and as you said, you might feel a bit silly nagging them, but actually, even if it becomes almost a laughing joke, you know, like a laughable thing, that's quite good. Like I definitely got to the stage where I would be walking down the dock and be like, me again. Like, yes, you know, but they get past that after a while, and then they actually start to become your friend, and you know, they start looking up for you, because they everyone's been there, you know, every single person who is on those boats has done this exact same thing. Everyone, you know,
absolutely.
So they want to help you.
They do. And also, Ali, I don't know, I mean, I'm sure everyone who's listening knows, but another good time is at the end of the day. You know, all the lads and the girls, they're out on the dock having a beer, talking, chatting. It's sometimes better than the morning time to try and tap people up for work or see what's happening with the boat and so on, because they're more chatted in, they've done their day, they're not stressed about getting up and getting to work and so on. So don't think that it's just a morning thing. It can be a good time at night time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can dock walk all day, with the exception of lunchtime, because you don't want to hassle people when they're on their lunch break. And usually you probably won't find anybody out on deck anyway, will you? Because they're all down below having lunch. But yeah, you can dock walk all day, because everything here changes in an instant, changes in a phone call. You know, like a boat can be sitting there on the dock, and captain gets a call from the charter agency or the boss to say, guess what, we're coming tonight, or we're coming tomorrow. And all of a sudden it's like all hands on deck, you know, now we need to pull people off the dock, because so by the end of the day they also know, like, who do they need for the next day. So that's really good advice.
And also who's good and who's worked and who's ready to stay longer and all those things. And those people are just the day workers that just will get work right up until they're on something, because they're hard to come by, actually, people that work hard and work really well all day. No phones, all the usual, you know, the best workers get the jobs. It's true, isn't it?
Yeah. And you really need to start, you know, you have to think of yourself as a product that you're trying to sell, and, you know, a brand that you're trying to sort of establish this reputation, this brand for yourself in the marketplace, if you like, the job market. And what people want to be thinking about you and saying about you is all that great stuff about, oh yeah, she was amazing, you know, I didn't see her on her phone once all day, because a lot of the younger crew are doing that a lot, and it annoys people. So, you know, that will stand out if you don't do that. You know, and just like that, she was really eager, she was on time, she was early, you know, we couldn't get her to stop at the end of the day, she wanted to keep going, you know, all that sort of stuff. And then they become like brand ambassadors for you, like salespeople for you, because once they spot a good person, you know, they've got their whole network as well. Don't forget how connected everybody is, guys. You know, like they've got all their friends and connections. And the first thing that people do, and Sarah will definitely attest to this as a chief steward, is when you're looking to hire, you first of all ask around your friends in the industry, do they know of anybody that's really good? Because you always want to take a personal recommendation before you have to go out to the agencies and start looking for people. So you want to be that person that that the friend has just got a call and they've gone, oh yeah, well, I know this, you know, amazing girl, you should definitely give her a go.
Yes, definitely. I know so many girls that have started their life just being called because they were really good day workers and someone knew them and someone saw them, and, you know, despite the friend thing, that that's the way it works, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so you went off to Dubai, which is pretty super awesome and amazing. So what happened after that? Did you stay out there for a long time?
After that, well, yes, he was great fun. In actual fact, probably too much fun, because he had a pack of friends, and they wore their dish dash in the day when their wives came on, and then they were drinking and having a normal life afterwards. But they wanted the crew to be part of it, which wasn't so good for us because, you know, the captain was telling us one thing and we were trying to think, well, we're not allowed to do that. And they'd say, right, come on, we're going to take you on horses riding through the desert and racetracks and go-karts. And it was an amazing, amazing, amazing time. But sadly, he hadn't paid, and we didn't know that at this stage, he hadn't paid his fuel bill all the way from France. So when we went up to do charters, we actually changed the key in Singapore. And I think we did a couple of charters, and then that was that for that boat. But you know,
lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Exactly. And whilst he apparently could afford it, he at the time just didn't have any cash flow. So he just, you know, he had everything on the tick. He'd been, you know, buying everything. We'd been buying everything, and nothing was paid for. So that was a great experience, and I wouldn't have liked to be in his shoes by the end of it, but there you go, the boat was repossessed and life moved on, we went back for more. So that, the next thing came up, and I took that, which was the grandmother really of Super Yachts Today, Michaela Rose. A lovely, but she didn't have a home berth, so she wasn't in Antibes. It was one of those boats where you just moved around the world, depending on where the family wanted to go. They were from Dallas, and they wanted to see the world. They went to Polynesia and Melanesia, and we went to Istanbul and everywhere. So again, different experience, but amazing as well. Yeah. So I think I saw a couple of comments yesterday from one of the groups in Antibes, and it said, you know, I'm deciding on this job. The itinerary doesn't look great, and so on. But really, it's not got a lot to do with the itinerary as much as the people on board and how the job is. So if you have the choice of choosing, you know, remember that it's the friends you make and the things you do and the families that you serve, rather than necessarily where you're going, that do make the difference to your job.
Yeah, definitely, because you can be on one of those amazing world traveling yachts and just be miserable as hell.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I know that 100%, not just because I've been there, but also because, you know, as in the work that I do now with people coming to me and wanting help with their career and things like that, more often than not, it is people who are just super, super lonely and miserable out there on some big boats in the middle of nowhere, and, you know, they're in paradise, but they are in hell. And so I 100% agree with you. It's about the people, and you know, you've got to go with your gut instinct about the other people that you're going to be working with as well.
Absolutely. It makes such a difference.
Yeah. So how long was it before you got promoted to chief stew?
Okay, so well, actually, again, I think it was just luck. That first applause that I went on to, the chief stew was a guy, and he left. His wife and so on in France said, right, that's it, you're back over here, or you're done for. So he left, and I took his job. So I actually did take over quite quickly after 3 months, I think, and then went in charge. So yeah, again, it's not typical. I was lucky, but yeah, it was great, and a good team to work with as well, which made all the difference. You know, young, great team that everyone wanted to help, everyone wanted to be part of everything, and so it worked. So that's what we did. However, coming back onto my next boat, I went back to a normal stewardess, because I hadn't done it very long, and there was, you know, I didn't know if what I was doing was even right, because I had no kind of, I'd never done it with anyone else there, you know, so yeah, so then I went back and became a normal stewardess again, and then went on to my next job as chief stew.
Right. Oh, that's really sensible, because when you said that, I was thinking, oh my goodness, what a stressful thing to happen, because I think a lot of people would be like, oh, how exciting, and you know, and it is, but at the same time, so much responsibility, and when you haven't had the chance to learn underneath somebody else all of the tricks of the trade and everything, so super stressful. So wow.
And saying that, I learned so much on my next boat. The chief stew was quite hard, and you know, we were ordered around and worked till all hours of the day and night. But actually, that's who made me good. She's the one that, you know, showed me the ropes, and since then I wouldn't have dreamt of doing anything, you know, badly or not quite right again, because I think she made the difference. So if you guys are hitting that with a crazy chief stew that, you know, keeps nagging and it's not right and things, just try and step away a little bit and think, okay, this is making me a better crew member, and there is a right way and there is a wrong way. So, you know, it's better right from the start. Yeah,
that's absolutely right, because you know, the more the harder they are on you, actually, the better they're making you. In, you know, they don't have to be nasty about it. That's true. But yeah, they're very sort of particular. You know, that's what this industry is about. It's about perfection. So
it is about perfection. Yeah, it's expected. You know, the guest will not come on and tolerate anything less. If they've had better, then, you know, it's not good enough. So that it is,
So did you have much of a hospitality background? Because you said you worked in teaching.
Yes.
Where did the you know, the understanding even come from to be able to do all of this?
So yeah, when I think back now, I think I didn't really, you know. I had obviously managed kids quite a lot, and had that under my belt. And also, I guess, going through university, I'd done bar jobs and pub jobs and hospitality things. And then in London, I also worked some weekends while I was teaching, doing catering events. So that probably helped me the most, you know, to know how to serve, to know how to properly serve a dinner. And also, I liked the people part. I liked being with people, and still today, I enjoy, you know, the meeting people and that front of house part as much as all the other is necessary and really able to be learnt very easily, beds and heads and so on, laundry and whatever else. If you don't have a good contact with people that you're there to help, then it becomes harder, I think. I think that's always been, I liked meeting people and, you know, that side of it.
Yeah, well, I think you can definitely, especially when you've got that, you can kind of overcome some of the other lack of knowledge because you sort of get away with it just from, you know, being a bubbly kind of person that people like.
It is so true, and actually I say this now, my husband, who's a chef on a boat, a big boat here, says, you know, last year his best stewardess for service and for helping him was the third stewardess, because actually she was bubbly and happy. She didn't really know a lot, but the guests loved her every single time because she talked to them. She was happy, smiley, couldn't do enough to help them, had a personality, and wasn't scared. And you know, those are the people that they do love. It's true.
Yeah, absolutely. Although you sort of have to you have to play that a bit carefully, don't you? Because it really depends on the guests. And I can remember one boat that I was working on where I was the only Australian on board, and it was a very old money New York family, and everybody else in the crew were British. Oh, there was a Kiwi deckhand as well, but they were all quite sort of posh, and and I had to get told to sort of just tone down my Australianness. Not so much my accent, but the bubbly vivaciousness that was all a bit too much for them. They wanted much more sort of formal stuff. So you always sort of follow the lead of, you know, the guests and you know, the chiefs if they advise you about that, or the captain. So what did you, when you became a chief stew, you know, the second time? Did you, by then, were you kind of going, yes, this is absolutely what I want to do with my life, or, you know, I found my dream job, or were you still a bit kind of like, oh, well, this is just fun, I'll just do this for a while and see what happens?
Do you know, I have to say, I was a bit, I don't even know what I was thinking then, but I was young and it was so much fun. I loved it, such a great crew. I don't really think I was looking forward. I know a lot of these guys who are coming down here today are so focused on, this is a job for life, you know, I want to do this. I really think, if I'm very honest, I think I probably fell into it rather. I did love it. I always loved it, but I didn't know that I was never going to go home. I didn't know that France was going to be my home, that, you know, I was going to marry on boats and have kids here and have a life here. I honestly, I think I really didn't know that then. As much as it became part of me at the start, it was, you know, just because it was great fun at the time.
And that's true for a lot of people. And, you know, it's certainly, we're not saying like, you know, that's bad and you have to have everything figured out, because I think this is really one of those incredible opportunity type industries or jobs where actually you've got to be open to anything happening, or the more open you are, you know, the more amazing things can happen. If you're too rigid and too sort of focused, you can miss opportunities, because they come in disguise. Like, you don't always know where something's going to lead, you know, like you might take a job on a really small boat and think, oh, this is a bit disappointing, it's only a really small boat, but actually that boss is about to buy a much bigger boat and he just loves you, so he wants to bring you with him, and you know, and then you get promoted, and you know, it can accelerate your career. So anything could happen in this industry, anything.
And that's quite often, Ali, as well now, you know, the promotion and the boss wanting to keep you. And I know girls on shore now, you know, who have kids and so on, and they're still on the payroll because the boss loves them. So there's amazing opportunities, which is incredible, really. But it does happen, definitely.
So what would be perhaps like one of your most amazing memories, if you, I mean, it's so hard, isn't it, because there's so many, I guess, but any really sort of standout moments for you in your career where you just kind of went, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm here doing this is amazing?
Yeah, well, I have to say, probably overall, as much as I loved every single experience, I think the last boat I was on, True Blue, that you were on for a little while, I think that we had a great captain, and that was fun for me. That was a really, really good time. Things went pear-shaped with that boat again because it was sold, and we got Russian owners and things. But at the time with the first crew, I think that was really a great time, a good feeling, and a really good crew. I don't think we did charters and we did a lot of boss stuff. I don't think we went to any amazing places really on that boat in that time that I was on there. But that was probably the experience I I enjoyed most. And actually, I didn't get off there until I was about 7.5 months pregnant. And I was begging them to let me go now, or there's going to be a baby delivered on this place. So yeah, that was the way out for me. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's one way of escaping.
Carter's being pregnant, and I remember, Jess saying, "You're not pregnant," and I was thinking, "Oh, yes, I am. So don't mess with me," and things like that. But yeah, I think that was probably when I look back now, I think probably I loved that as much as I loved going to Dubai and I loved going to the Maldives and all those places that I went. I think probably that's on one of the best memories for me.
It was a really fun boat, wasn't it? And so many Aussie crew. Like, did we have almost? We had almost all Aussie crew, didn't we? I'm trying to remember. I was the crew chef for a season, and I'd already met Sarah before that through mutual friends, but that's how we know each other. So see how else can go on and do wonderful, amazing things after yachting.
First mate and captain were English, and the rest of us were all Antipodean rebels.
Yes. Hence the true blue. Yeah. So when did you sort of go, well, obviously you had a baby, so that was your kind of like, yep, that's me, I'm out of yachting now. But did you kind of think, oh, I really want to try and get back into it, or were you by that stage, no, that's it, I've had enough, I just want to focus on being a mum now?
Do you know, I never thought I've had enough. I got married, obviously, then had a baby, and he was working on another boat. So I kind of knew that things had to, that they weren't going to be the same forever once we were married and we bought a house and so on. I never had enough. And when I got off, I really missed it. And I think because I didn't know so many shore-based people at that stage, I had all my friends were on boats, basically. So it was a big learning curve. And looking back now, I wish I'd stayed a bit more involved than I did. But I had 3 kids quite quickly, and it was just hectic, and it's still hectic. So yeah, I enjoy the parts that I do have, and I enjoy the contact with my husband's boat and so on. But yeah, I kind of wish, and there are good opportunities for a lot of people here now, and people have made obviously their whole lives and livings doing things off boats once they've finished, which I didn't do, which I kind of, sometimes think I should have. Yeah.
Yeah, well, could have maybe, rather than should have. Yeah. So, but you've come back into it again now, which we're very excited about.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so wonderful to have you on the team and to be able to share all of your experience and wisdom and just bubbliness as well.
Well, I'm really enjoying it, and trying to find out some good things that maybe you guys that are listening to don't know, or that you can help with. For example, accommodation in Antibes for yachties, or food, or friendships and social life and things like that. So yeah, keep telling me things and keep asking me things, and I'll try and find out some good things for you, as well as those jobs, which is the most important, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So what advice would you give our newbies that are, this season's kind of class of 2017, if you like, that are trying to get into the industry?
Yeah, I will say this, it's harder than when you and I did it, Ali, but I would say, stick at it. There are so many jobs out there and changes and things happening, like we said, all season. So don't give up. I think the best of the best will get the jobs. So if you really try, and if you can work hard, and if you've given your all every single day that you go to day working, it's not just another day of day working where I'm earning my money and going home. If you really help those people out, they will remember, and they'll send you on to other people and so on. So that would be my advice. Just work really hard and stick at it. It is demoralizing at times, and you do think, oh God, why am I walking around this quay again? But really, just do it and do it again. And also, I think one of the agents said to me the other day, and I think I put it on the website, that she said so many people walk down to the IYCA in Antibes expecting that they're going to get on a big boat, and those boats, it's less likely than anywhere that you'll get on. A lot of times it's word of mouth and who you know. So it's all the other things that are super important. Don't forget Italy. It's right up and down the coast. And you know, there's massive ports in Genoa and Viareggio and so on, that maybe you're going to be, you know, there's going to be less people there. So it's not a bad idea. If you get really sick of pounding the docks in Antibes and Cannes, just take a train and go with some mates and do it for a couple of days, see it, and it's a beautiful places. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and get to do a bit of traveling and see something different and stuff as well. So yeah, I mean, we've got a map which is the pinned post on the Facebook wall. You know, so make sure you guys that you check that out, because it's a Google map that's got all the little markers and everything showing you exactly where to go, and it shows you where those ports are in Italy and the shipyards and things like that, because you can try shipyards as well. You know, so but as Sarah says, you need to get out of Dodge. You need to, you know, get away from where all the hordes and masses and the lazy people and the people who don't know better. You know, like, it's all about giving you the edge, and that's one of the biggest things that will give you the edge, is just get away from all of them. Go to some of those other ports and .org.
Absolutely. And also just join all those websites. I mean, even in Palma, I see loads of jobs coming in, people, they will fly you there if you're the perfect person. If you can convince them that it's you, you know, usually money's not an issue. You don't think, I can't go to Palma, I have no money. Just apply anyway. Because if you are, they'll definitely fly you there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say would be like one of the best things that you got out of working in yachting?
Wow, I got to meet some amazing people, and I've made some lifetime friends. So for me, and also, of course, job satisfaction. You know, you do really heavy charters and really long hours and things, but who else, you know, can say I've met all these people and I've had a great time, and we really did, you know, do the countdown in 2000 with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and then who, you know, all these things that just would not normally happen to a normal person in life. So, you know, just I think those things are the things that stick in your mind as being great, you know. People and places, of course. Places.
What are some of the places that you went to? Because you mentioned before a few, so so you sound like you managed to do quite a bit of travelling when you were on the boats.
Yeah, I would say I've done probably all of the Med, and obviously Dubai, and also Polynesia and Melanesia and those places around there. Italy, right down to Sicily. So most of the normal places that you guys will all go, you know, it's fairly standard now, isn't it? That you, the only one I haven't done, which I would love to do, and now is much more common, is Croatia. I'd love to see Croatia, and you know, I haven't done that one. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't manage to get to Croatia either. I'm hoping that I'll get to do it with my hubby on a sailing boat one of these days. That'd be nice.
Exactly.
Although he's a sailor too, so he always says, I don't want to go on a sailing holiday, you know, on my holidays, because it's my job.
Yeah. That's a shame, because that would be an amazing holiday on a boat, I think. It would.
Yeah.
And also, like, you know, going into New York Harbor and Martha's Vineyard, all those places are absolutely amazing. You know, everywhere's fantastic, really, when you think.
Yeah. So you've had some pretty special experiences. And I guess as well, like, you know, we mustn't forget your wonderful husband and your kids, and that none of that would have happened if it wasn't for yachting, I suppose, or maybe not with you, not with that person.
It's absolutely true. I met him here on something to do with boats, and that was it. So yeah, exactly. It changed my life forever, for sure. because I would have either been back in England teaching or back home in Oz. So yeah, it does. I mean, I think for most people, yachting changes their lives. I would say a lot of people anyway. Do you think? Yeah,
absolutely. And I think one of the other things that mustn't be underestimated about yachting is how much it can really help you to accelerate your own kind of personal position in life. Because if you are fairly smart with your money, as I know that you were probably a lot smarter than me, and friends of ours like Fran and people like that, who kept hold of most of it and invested it and did smart things with it. And now look, you own an absolutely fantastic, gorgeous house in the south of France and all of that sort of stuff. And that sort of thing is completely out of reach of, as you say, like the normal person. So yachting is really incredible for that. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about what I do and helping people get into the yachting industry is because in a way it's an even playing field. Like you can come from any background whatsoever, and if you've got the right attitude and the right approach and you teach yourself the skills and all the rest of it, you could come from having absolutely not a brass razoo in your pocket to like owning houses in the south of France and all the rest of it, and having a designer wardrobe if that's what you want to spend your money on. You can do that, or you can save up the money to do further studies or to start a business or do all of these things that you might not have been able to do otherwise.
Absolutely. So I mean, it really is, and it's great for that. And tips are amazing, sometimes, not all the time, and so on. And you really can get ahead, in life as long as you kind of knuckle down and do it. I think, Ali, if I'd been taken back 20 years and you told me that then, I might have listened.
You probably wouldn't have. I don't think either of us would have.
I don't know. But, definitely try and keep some in your pocket, because I mean everything's free. Your life is free on these boats. That's the thing. You can eat there every day of the week. You can drink on there every day of the week. You sleep on there. There's not a lot that you have to spend on apart from partying if you must. But that is the thing to keep hold of and be aware of. Definitely that you need to be a bit sensible, and especially with these new laws coming in here and so on. You need to know what's happening with your money, definitely.
Actually, that's quite a good point, because in yachting, it's not like a job where where you kind of go to work for a company and there's a human resources department and they look after you and they tell you, take care of all of that stuff, and they look after telling you when you have to do more training and all that kind of thing. In yachting, you're almost like you are self-employed, really, even though you've got a job. You're self-employed. You have to be looking after your own sort of obligations, so you have to keep track of when tickets are running out and you've got to renew them. You've got to keep track of what your tax obligations are and all that kind of thing. And you might ask the captain and he might not have a clue because he's got a completely different situation to you, or so it's up to you to go out there and find the right people and make sure that you that you get the best advice about that, because you don't want it to come back and bite you on the bum later.
No, definitely no. No. So fingers crossed for the next couple of months with the law changing, where yachties may be paying social charges and so on, and bosses may be being told to, and so on. It's another little change, but it's quite a big change, really.
Yes, so people definitely need to get advice about that. And if anybody has got any questions about that, of course they can ask us in Ultimate Crew, and we will direct you towards all the right resources. In fact, I wrote an article about it a couple of weeks ago in my blog, so there's if you want to go back into the Crew Coach website and look on the blog, you'll find an article with some good links and stuff.
That was really, really good, actually, Ali. And we're still waiting. We're hoping that things are going to happen, but we people are still ringing around daily and trying to find out best solutions, and bosses are looking at, you know, changing ports and so on. So yeah, it is an interesting time, definitely. Keep an eye out for it.
Absolutely. So I just want to reach out to our audience and see whether or not they've got any questions that they want to ask. So guys, there's a few different ways you can ask questions, or there's two different ways. You can either put a question in the chat box, or you can use the Q&A. If you can see that, there's a little Q&A button there where you can type a question in. Feel free to ask anything at all, you know. So it could be a question about trying to get into yachting, could be a question about trying to get out of yachting, could be something to do with, you know, can't find anywhere to stay, or I heard this was happening and I don't know anything about it. So any questions at all, feel free to fire away. I'll just keep a little one eye open and see whether anything comes in. I think everyone's being a bit shy, or maybe we've just answered all their questions. Which would be good. So are there any other kind of pitfalls? Like I asked you what the best memories were. What would be like your worst memory, do you think, from yachting?
Yeah, I think probably hard captain's wives. Can I say that? Yeah, I think really probably the worst is to do with the people, you know. If you don't like someone, or if it's not working out on that boat, then probably that's hard. Then probably what you should do is just get off, really, and don't kill yourself trying to change, because it probably won't change. I think probably that for me in particular, one experience wasn't great, and I stayed too long, and I stayed too long for the wrong reasons, thinking that, you know, I should stay, rather than getting off and going and doing something different. And as soon as I did get off and go and do something different, it changed everything. It was really amazing. So yeah, probably for me that first, there weren't too, to be honest, in all those years, there weren't really too many really bad times that I can honestly say. Probably also being away from friends and family for things that you couldn't get to would have been one of my, you know, sadder moments. But that's me being an Aussie living so far away anyway. And when it's the season, you know, you just can't go. You can't go and see your brother's wedding, or you can't go to a christening, or you can't, you know, and that's it. But there's so many benefits that that outweigh that I would think that, you know, you kind of you understand it, don't you? You know.
Absolutely, yeah. It's kind of swings and roundabouts, isn't it? And at the end of the day, yeah. So we have got a question. Lorenzo says, "Hi, I'm from Cape Town, South Africa. I'm electrical qualified heavy current artisan. Not quite sure what that means. Currently working as a submariner in the South African Navy. How do I get into the yachting industry? Where do I start, please? I've always had a mad passion for the yachting industry." So Lorenzo, I think you might have asked some questions in the Facebook group actually, and I was chatting with you in there. You definitely, as an engineer, you need to get a qualification which is called an AEC, Applied Electrical something. I can't remember what it stands for, but I'm pretty sure I posted a link for you, and I will go back and make sure once we get off the call that link is in there for you.
Yes,
in the Facebook.
As well. Yeah, that link is definitely there. Yeah.
So that's almost all you need to do, kind of to be qualified, because you already have all of the right tickets and everything else as a submariner, and your qualifications are equivalent and recognised. So that's a good news. So then the next thing to do would be to really focus in on your CV and go through the CV toolkit, which we provide to you as part of Ultimate Crew, because a yachting CV is very, very different from a land-based CV. You know, so you could fall at the first hurdle by trying to send off your normal CV, and people just go, "Oh, we're not even going to look at that guy because you know, clearly he knows nothing about yachting." and this is probably a really important thing for everybody actually on the call to think about. It's not just for the engineers. The industry is quite a closed circle, as you probably already found if you're here trying to get in. And it's just that there are some standard ways of doing things, and when people see your CV, they immediately can tell whether it's a yachting CV or not, i.e. does this person know anything about yachting or not, based on the layout and what you've included in the CV. So when you use our layout in the template that we give you, and when you put all the information in the right order, you automatically get past that first barrier of people going, not a yachty, so therefore doesn't understand the industry, green, you know, and all that kind of thing. There's nothing really wrong with being green, except that in a lot of people's minds they think, we don't really have the time and the energy to train this person. We need somebody, you know, who's already a little bit further along the journey. And that's why they tend to go a bit like that about the greenies. But you know, it's not easy being green. But the thing is, once you've got your CV really, really nailed, and this is what we're here to help you do, you know, like get your CV sorted, upload it into Ultimate Crew, let us have a look at it, and we'll tell you whether it's good or not. We'll help you evaluate whether your picture is any good or not, and if you need to change it and all that stuff. And then you're ready to start sending it out to agencies. So as an engineer, you could possibly get your first job through a crew agency without ever even coming to One Teeth. Like it's unlikely that it's possible. That's really not so likely to happen for any of the other roles, although it could happen potentially for a chef if they were like, you know, really, really amazing Michelin star chef or something like that. But for most people, they do need to actually come to one of the main yachting hubs at the right time of year. And for the Med, it's now, the time of year is now, and the place to come to is Antibes. And, you know, and use our map to look at where all the crew agents are. Make sure you register with all of them online first, because it takes quite a long time to do that. So better that you do that from home in your own, you know, lounge room with your own internet before you spend the money to come overseas and sit in a crew house and pay for accommodation while you're, you know, sitting on the internet. It does take a long time to apply. So once you've got all your applications uploaded, then you can go around and actually start going and meeting these people. And most agencies won't put you forward for a job unless they have met you or at least spoken to you. So if you can't afford to get over here, the most important thing is get your CV sorted, register with all the agencies. You can look in our connections directory online on our website. There's a big list of them there. I'm losing my voice now. So get yourself registered, and then if you can't come here in person, pick up the phone, ring around and try to talk to them, and get a feel, you know, get some feedback from them, get a feel for where the jobs are and all that kind of thing. That's for an engineer, slightly different. I don't know.
It is a little bit different for engineers, isn't it? They're probably the only ones that will get away with not being here. Yeah.
And it's purely because there is a bit of a shortage in our industry for engineers, particularly on the slightly smaller, well, when I say smaller, I mean less than 50 metre size boats. You know, there's jobs going all the time for engineers on those boats, and so you could really pretty quickly and easily, I would have thought, with the right CV and the right approach, you could get yourself on as a second engineer on a super yacht. There is a lot to learn, because I've worked with a lot of engineers, helping them to move across from merchant and you know, the commercial world and the Navy. There's a lot to learn about super yachting that is very different from the current job that you have now. And that is mostly to do with managing the other crew and being able to get along with the other crew, because you've got a really big range of ages, and, you know, you've got females as well as males working together, and you might have been in a very male-dominated environment up until now. So that can be quite challenging. And the other thing that a lot of my engineers tell me when they first make this move is that it's so unstructured, you know, compared to working in their jobs where they know exactly when they're getting their leave, they know, you know, exactly what they're going to be doing every day. It's very regimented and structured. And for our industry, you could be fixing a toaster 1 minute, fixing the engines the next minute, fixing a tender the next minute. You know, like you're just doing anything and everything, aren't you? And you have to be super friendly and approachable, and not just, you know, sort of a grumpy old mechanic in the corner who sneers at people when they come past.
There's a lot of it's like that, it seems.
I know. Some of them are a bit grumpy, aren't they? But we had a submarine engineer on True Blue. Do you remember?
Yes, yes.
He was great fun, and he used to always say that, you know, for him, he found yachting was just so mad compared to to working in those other industries.
Yeah, even I think even on James boats, you know, they just find it so different. There are a lot of merchant Navy guys around, and they do get on boats and then do find rotations quite easily and things, but it's nothing like what they've done before, that's for sure.
No. And some of them decide in the end that they don't like it, and they go back to what they were doing before. So really do your research and really do have a good think about whether or not it is going to be the right fit for you. There's a quiz that you'll find on our website as well about, is yachting right for you? Definitely take that quiz. It's in Yachting 101 as well, you know, to make sure that you're not sort of setting yourself up for a situation that you're not going to be happy about. Cool. So we don't have any more questions, and we're up to our time. So that's gone really fast, hasn't it?
Yeah, just seemed to. I've just picked a little look over at the clock on the wall, and it has flown. I had no screaming noises in the background from my Easter holiday lot, so all's good.
Of course, I forgot it was Easter holidays there.
Too lovely.
You love it. Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us on the call, and thank you so much as well for all of your efforts in Ultimate Crew. You know, I really appreciate what you're doing, and I hope that our members do as well. And guys, please do ask anything at all. The whole point of Ultimate Crew is that it's a safe environment. You know, it's not one of those public Facebook groups where every man and his dog is in there. There are no crew agents in our group. There's only crew, people who are trying to, you know, just get somewhere with their career, and us. You know, so we are on your side. We don't have a hidden agenda. We're not trying to sell you anything. This is a free group. So absolutely make the most of Sarah's expertise, and, you know, ask us anything at all, and we will do our best to answer you. All right, guys. So so have a very happy Easter. I hope you all get lots of chocolate from the Easter Bunny.
The Easter Bunny is not prepped in this house yet.
I know. I need to go and have a chat with the Easter Bunny as well.
Yep, it's rolling on very fast. Well, thank you, Ali, as well. I'm really enjoying it. And yes, please, anyone ask any questions. Tell me anything you like on that group, and I'll try and help you in every way.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys, and lots of love to all of you. Mwah. Big kiss to you, Sarah. And we'll talk to you all again in another month. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.